So we have the past, the present, and now the future. What's going on, everyone? My name's Roscoe and welcome to the channel. So today's video, I am going to be comparing the new 700 V3 against the 700 family. We're talking about the V2 and also the V1. I've owned the 700 V3 Azale for about over a month now, and it is a lot different. So I'm going to be breaking down the sizing, the fit, and the feel of this shoe and putting it up against the older 700s. They are going to be pumping out a lot more colorways in 2020 of this new 700 V3. I mean, they just announced a new colorway called Alva, a triple black 700 V3, which I am super excited about. So without further ado, let's put up the 700 V3 against the 700 V1. Now, starting off with the Wave Runners, this is probably one of the most iconic Yeezys of its time. It was the start of a new trend. The dad shoe. These were hit with a lot of hate to begin with. Took a long time for it to grow on people. It's so iconic. I think they restocked it 3 or 4 times. Now, the release was totally different on this new 700 V3 Azale. It ended up selling out instantly. It was super hard to get. Started reselling very well right after it released. I mean, resale prices right now, right about $450 to $500. Aesthetically, they're totally different. We're talking about a dad shoe, way more of a futuristic vibe. Kind of has more of an athletic feel to it as well. Let's talk about comfort and put them up against each other. You know, the 700 V1 has full length boost. Now, when you have boost, you just can't beat it. So far as comfort is concerned, these will not match up to the 700 V1. However, I will say on the 700s, you don't feel that boost as much. With the chunky midsole of the 700 V1, you don't feel the boost as often. On the 700 V3, it doesn't have boost. You're getting EVA foam, which is very similar to the slides. So if you do own a pair of Yeezy slides and you like that comfort, you're gonna find it quite similar. Now, the fit and feel of the shoes are totally different. The V1 has more padding inside. There's more cushioning, especially around the heel and on the tongue, rather than this has sort of like a slip-on feel. It kind of has a lockdown feel, I could say. Kind of gives you, again, that sort of basketball sporty feel. It's tight. The shoe fits a lot narrower compared to the V1s. For sizing wise, I will say, even though for me personally, I go a half size up on all Yeezys, I will say that this shoe fits a lot narrower. And if you have wide feet, you might have to go up a full size on this shoe. This one, because of that loose tongue and the laces, you can loosen it up. Kind of gives you that extra room, rather than this one. I feel like the laces only kind of lock down the siding of the shoe. Really has no difference to the feel of the sneaker. Now, as far as a design standpoint, I mean, these are totally different. You're talking about a futuristic shoe, a dad shoe. Now, these glow in the dark, which is a nice feature. Looks like all the upcoming colorways too will glow in the dark, which is nice. These have a lot of 3M, the Wave Runners. You have the 3 stripes on the side and also the 3M on the lace locking here on the toe. Now, as far as material wise, I mean, you're talking leather, suede, cloth, rather than this one just has a little bit of prime knit on the side. And then you also have this hard plastic material on the toe box, and then you have neoprene tongue. I mean, this one is totally different as far as material wise. Now, the only thing I will say as far as a design standpoint that is the same is the toe boxes. The toe boxes are all the same on the 700s. They kept that fang look, which I absolutely love. You get that same vibe here on the 700 V3. But honestly, I don't even know why they called the 700 V3 a 700, because honestly, I think they should have just gave it its own number. Call it like a 710, a 720, or a 730. They are quite different, so it's curious to see why they even kept it in the 700 family. Now, these both have very minimalistic branding. This new 700 V3 has more branding than the older 700s, because if you look at the Wave Runners, there's not an Adidas logo in sight. They do have 3 stripes on the side, but you can't see it unless you hit it with a flash. Rather than the new 700 V3, they just slapped it on the back of the heel. On the back of the heel, you have the Adidas branding right there. Other than that, there's no Yeezy logo whatsoever. Up against each other, this is clearly a more iconic shoe. As far as comfort is concerned, I will edge it to the V1. As far as aesthetically is stylish, I will edge it to the V3. I would say if you're a Yeezy fan, you definitely need to own a pair of Wave Runners, and you will need to own a pair of 700 V3s. Now let's put the 700 V3s against the 700 V2s. Okay, now moving on to the 700 V2s. Here I have the static colorway. This released back in 2018 towards the end of the year. They were super hard to get. Now, honestly, looking at it aesthetically, this is the peak of dad shoes. Everyone was creating memes on the internet of this shoe because it does look like a grandpa shoe. Chunky midsole, and obviously the color kind of reminds of a lot of people of senior citizen shoes. This has to be one of my favorite Yeezys that I own. It's probably one of my most worn Yeezys of 2019. It's super comfortable. I love the design on it. It does share a lot of similarities to the 700 V1, especially those wave runners. They kept that same 700 sole on this shoe, but they just redesigned the upper. The one thing I will say that is the same, that is very comparable between the two, is that they're both super breathable. So on the side here is prime knit, so lets the air go right through into your foot. On the 700 V3, they use this filter, as you can see here on the side. This is like a clear filter that lets the air go right through, because on the tongue, there ain't no air going in through this tongue at all. It's completely locked in. But aesthetically, they look totally different. Super dad shoe, the peak of dad shoes right here. And then this one is definitely moving away from that trend. I feel like the 700 V2s are one of the most comfortable Yeezys that are out there. Definitely feel the boost. This one has full length boost. You can definitely see it on the bottom. Way comfortable than the wave runners. I think it's just the statics though because of the material on the tongue and also on the siding. 10 out of 10 as far as comfort is concerned. Rather than I mentioned that this is a 7 out of 10 as far as comfort. Now going with the style of these shoes, you know, this shoe had its time. It's kind of time to move on from the dad shoes. Like, I really like this new aesthetic look, the futuristic, the more athleisure vibe. As far as design standpoint, I'm still sticking with the 700 V3. This shoe definitely had its time and place, but I thought this was more of a trendy sneaker, and trends always die off. I would definitely go with the 700 V3s, even though I said that these are way more comfortable and I worn these a ton. I just think like these are just super trendy, and that we're moving away from this trend and we're going into this new Yeezy approach in 2020. So if I had $500, pick which one, I'm going with the 700 V3. So here we have the 700 V3s, the 700 V2s, and now the 700 V1s. What has been your favorite 700 between the V1 or the V2? Or if you have the V3, do you think the V3 is better already? To me, if I had to rank them, I would honestly go, this is tough. Still first, and it's just between these two. I would probably go second, third. Even though I love these so much, I just think aesthetically it's time to move on and move into this new approach for Yeezy. These are still iconic. Maybe these will get there to number one after the end of 2020. Right now, I still gotta put Wave Runners 1, 700 V3s 2, and then the 700 V2s third. But that is my video for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.